When we were picking a new car, we couldn't consciously have a vehicle that was going to be polluting the environment that we were in. So first of all, it was an environmental concern, but then when we started to look at the economics of it, we actually discovered that the amount we were paying on fuel would actually be roughly the same as it would to cost to finance an EV. So when we put those two together, it became a bit of a no-brainer.
I'm one of the 40% of people who don't have access to off-street parking. I live in a conservation area, and therefore I find it unlikely that I'm going to get access to EV charging in any near-term timescale.
What made me buy an electric car was taking a test drive. Best thing I ever done. Got rid of the diesel, got an electric.
I don't want it to cost the world, but I do want it to be able to get me from A to B, reliably and without having to worry about where I'm charging it and how.
Everyone seems to think that electric cars are slow like milk floats, but they are quick. They accelerate faster 0 to 30 than a petrol or diesel, and yeah, it's just brilliant.
Well, there's this mystery that's called range anxiety. Where you think, where am I going to get my next charge? And in all honesty, the first time I drove an electric car, that lasted for about 15 minutes.
I know there are some great things about driving them. They're super smooth and great acceleration, but I do want something that's going to be still fun to drive. That's one of the things that would tip me towards buying one.
I think that actually there's an EV for everyone, be it the Zoe and the small cars, right through to the the Model S's and Model X's for long range travel. The only thing that matters is price.
What convinced me to buy an electric car was 2 episodes of Fully Charged, actually. So one was about how easy it is to charge the car, and the other one was about the low cost of ownership. And up until that point, I thought that electric cars were complex and they were going to be expensive to run.
The total cost of ownership of an EV is a lot cheaper than a conventional diesel or petrol car, less moving parts. There's hardly anything that goes wrong with them.
If you had a better network of availability for batteries, availability for whatever you need for charging them. I'm trying to find out about that sort of stuff. I don't know as much as I could do, so I get more publicity as well about where is this stuff, how is it available.
You've got to have an infrastructure in place to charge them, either if you're making longer journeys on holiday, where I suppose you need a lot more chargers.
If you have a fully electric vehicle, the government are giving £4,500 towards that, so that helps a bit with the cost and it's an incentive. Servicing costs are cheaper, and you get no charge on your road tax.
So what made me buy an electric car was the compelling cost savings I'm going to make, and also the fact that it's a greener way of going about our business. I have a diesel car as well. I hardly ever drive it now.
When they come the same price as the equivalent petrol or diesel vehicle, then I think that's when we'll see a real change.
There's thousands of households across the country who have a second car and have off-road parking, and that second car could be replaced with an electric car, which would be cheaper to run, it would be more convenient, they'd actually spend less time charging than they do refuelling.
It's not that we're looking at renewable energy as the goal, we're kind of looking at it as the threshold. So it's not really the motivation factor, it's the minimum standard.
If I could speak to government, I would tell them that they need to take a lead. Any of this sort of stuff, it needs standards. I mean, I've seen electric cars here and they've got 2 different plug sockets. What's that about?
Please make sure that the charging points are installed in all new properties, whether houses or commercial buildings that are built.
It's legislation, not voluntary codes of practice. Legislation to ensure we have sustainable infrastructure, sustainable housing, water efficiency practices, and this would help households just automatically save energy, save money, would lift people out of fuel poverty.
Can we get serious about the holistic picture? We're talking about some grants here and there, but on the other hand of the other part of the equation, you've got removal of PV feed-in and stuff like that. So are we talking a green future or not?
I have a whole wallet full of different cards and apps and things like this, and it would certainly be easier for new drivers if you just have one card or one app.
A tap and go with a single contactless card would be perfect.
Do you think you'll ever go back to owning a fossil fuel car?
No way. No way.
So it's electric?
I'm totally electric.
Never, ever, ever. It's not even a hybrid. Never, ever, ever.
So it's electric for you from here on?
Oh yes.